So first thing we'll go into is cocaine. And again, feel free to stop me if you have any questions. Cocaine, how does cocaine work? It's kind of unique. It blocks this voltage gated sodium channel. So if you can see my arrow right here into this cleft, it blocks norepinephrine reuptake. So it causes this vasoconstriction. And remember, people realize that they think cocaine and dopamine, but it also has other effects on serotonin and norepinephrine. And so it has some pretty, and it works on the synaptic cleft right here. So you could see these dopamine particles kind of hang out there longer. And that's the main kind of contributor of it. In the modern history of cocaine, it was first isolated in the mid 1800s. It was actually used to treat morphine addiction in 1879, which was pretty interesting. Coca-Cola did have it in their cocoa leaf extract from, and in 1903, it was removed from formula for Coke products. It was sold over the counter by Merck, and it was heavily endorsed by Sigmund Freud, the renowned psychiatrist or psychologist. Use declined in the 20s and 30s with regulation and introduction of amphetamine. And then we saw this big resurgence in the 70s and 80s. In the 70s with the powder, and then the 80s in the inner city, when they developed the crack cocaine. So how does cocaine produce? You'll see it in, this initial paste is pulled from the leaves and it's stomped on with this sulfuric acid. The leaves are chopped, mixed with lime and kerosene, and then it's ground into this paste, which is about 40 to 80% of cocaine. I won't get in too deep with it, but the hydrochloric acid is added to make a purified water-soluble salt, and before it's exported, and that's where you see this powdered cocaine into bricks. You also hear other terms like freebase and crack, and that's just basically by adding a base, freebase, like ammonia, and then they'll extract it with ether. And then crack is made by mixing baking soda and heating, and then you'll avoid that kind of ether contaminant as well. Adulterants, this is kind of interesting. Cocaine purity averages about 40%. And again, this is a big kind of problem. One estimate on the research I read is that about 70% of street cocaine is contaminated with this I can't ever say it, levamisole. And this dexamisole, this is basically a horse dewormer and potent modulator that you'll see in veterinarian offices. I don't even think it's legal anymore, but it's thought to prolong cocaine's effect. And this is the vasculitis that you can get with it. It kind of constricts, and they can lose ears and noses. The mechanism behind it is not well understood. Other adulterants. And again, when I say adulterants versus bulking agents are sugar, talc, and cornstarch. Adulterants and these are pharmacological active substances. So you'll see caffeine, you'll see diltiazem, which is a common blood pressure pill, hydroxyzine, which is used for anxiety. And again, 50 to 90% of users binge with alcohol. And also you have to be careful when you're talking with your patients too, because this really puts you in increased risk for developing toxic liver damage. You'll see with cocoethylene, which is a very toxic liver metabolite than you get when you combine them. Routes to the brain, topical within 5 minutes, intranasal, you'll get about 5 minutes, then it'll peak around 15 to 20. It'll last about 60 to 90 minutes. So you see as you go down the line, IV versus inhalation. Inhalation is the fastest, 3 to 5 seconds. You feel the effect. It also has the downside. It only lasts and peaks, within 1 to 3 minutes or 5 minutes. And this is the metabolite that you get, the major metabolite you get in urine for cocaine. Benzoylecgonine is kind of how you pronounce that. I've had to do that 10 times. This is formed by the liver and excreted in the urine. The detection window is around 4 days for urine. I've seen it anecdotally in, heavier use longer. I've seen it up to 7 days or 10 days. Blood, we don't usually do blood tests, but that's around 2 days. And then saliva, 2 days. Hair is 3 months. The false positives is very rare in cocaine. So usually a positive test on the cup, indicates cocaine. Any questions so far? All right. So we can see with overdose, it's kind of trending upward. And this is throughout kind of the whole country here. I think the last estimate, I think it was in 2019, there was about 1.5 million active people using cocaine or qualify for a substance or a cocaine use disorder. And we can see this kind of yellow line. This is kind of interesting too, that the overdose from cocaine has gone up, but it also has gone up pretty exponentially combined with synthetic opioids. And this is other than methadone. So you're most likely seeing fentanyl mixed with cocaine. And then you'll see this line. It's actually pretty steady, is cocaine without any other opioid. So this major problem with the speedballing and mixing the two. What are the acute effects of cocaine? People will say they get euphoria, increased energy and libido, impulsivity, increased alertness. When you get the higher doses and you escalate the frequency, people will get insomnia, anxiety, confusion, paranoia, panic attacks, hyperflexia, tremor, they're sweating, tachycardic. And then, you can get overdoses, convulsions, hemorrhage, or infarct. And remember, it's a different overdose, your stimulants, than your opioids. You're getting strokes, you're having heart attacks, you're having cardiac arrhythmias. You're getting rhabdomyolysis, which is dehydration, which is secondary to extensive kidney failure. And remember in pregnancy as well with placental abruption.